I was so hard-hearted that nothing was gonna touch me. I just thought I could do no wrong. And if somebody didn't like it and they wanted to leave me, then they could just go, because I was gonna be fine. I got this. My stepfather and I had a very rocky relationship. He was a heavy drinker. One of my jobs was to go to the fridge and bring him fresh beers, and then when I'd take the empties away, I'd always get the last dribbles out. I mean, that's when I got my first taste of beer. He would take me to the bars, and I would rack pool balls for people while he would sit at the bar for hours and drink, and that was the environment I was brought up in. This is just what a man did, you know. When I first started drinking the really hard stuff, I was actually put in the hospital in grade school for cirrhosis of the liver. Finally ran the test, that showed up, and then I had to admit that that's what I'd been doing, was drinking all the whiskey in the liquor cabinet. And then through my 20s, partied quite a bit. It just became a staple of life. You just always had beer. I knew about Jesus, but I didn't live my life like he mattered. I put a cross around my neck when I was 16 and told myself he'd be there when I needed him. That pride just continued to grow and grow, and with that, my drinking just continued to get more and more. And that's unfortunately the way I lived most of my life. And when anybody would reach out to try to help me, I got this. It's all good. Well, then with my wife, when she come and told me that we were pregnant, you would think that would be a time when you would stop drinking. You know, here's probably the one thing that I wanted more than anything in the world, and it never dawned on me to clean up. I didn't stop drinking. In fact, I drank more. It was a horrible time of my life, but I thought it was fantastic. And I didn't want anyone to tell me I had to stop drinking. I had bottles hid throughout the house, and at 3 o'clock in the morning, first thing I'm doing is drinking. That was just so I could hang on to stuff, or I could get dressed and button my pants and my shirt. And that's when I began to know I had a problem. I couldn't function. But my pride, I wasn't gonna reach out to anybody or anything. It got so bad at one point that Shelly and Savannah left me at home for a week. And so I decided that's when I was gonna go cold turkey, and I wasn't gonna drink, and I didn't. I went 5 days without drinking, and I was so deathly sick. I was near death. I had a massive seizure. They took me by ambulance down to Burlington to detox. That's when I went into AFib. That's when I hurt my heart. I came back from that and continued drinking because, again, I thought, I'm tough. Nothing's gonna hurt me. I survived that, and the habit of addiction, I slid right back into it. Shelly wanted us to go start talking to Matt and stuff, so I came to counseling and met Matt Yaley here at Harmony. He was very engaging, but some of the things he said riled me up a little bit. Kind of had an idea of what he was going to talk about, but I was not prepared for the way he talked about it. I knew in my mind how much I was going to let go of, but somehow he got more out of that than I was willing to give up. But there was a lot of things that were said that were starting to hit home, because there was cracks in my armor. I was starting to realize that I wasn't as tough as I thought I was, but I didn't want that to show outwardly. So I kept putting a big front up, and the pride was a big part of that. But then my best friend Luke Russell, we had been talking about the refuge and stuff, and how I didn't feel I needed it and I didn't need to go. And he finally one day said to me, he says, you know what, I have to be amongst like-minded people, and you're not one of them. I can't be around you anymore. That was like a dagger in the heart. I was upset. Who does he think he is and whatnot? And between him and Matt, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to show them both. I'm going to walk through that program, and I'll come back and I'll be fine. The Refuge is a gospel-centered men's program that brings the light of the gospel to the darkness of addiction. Shelly and I went up there, and she dropped me off. She was crying, and she kissed me goodbye. I thought that's the last time I'm ever going to see my wife as my wife. That very first night, I got my eyes open. There was a bunch of guys there that knew me without knowing me. They knew exactly the facade I was putting up. But I remember sitting there and I was going through my devotionals. Something just finally hit me that I just need to give up. I had made a complete wreck of my entire life, trying to do everything myself. You know, the world is screaming at me to be a man, and God's whispering at me to just be my child. And right then and there, I literally looked up and said, God, I am so tired. I give it all up to you. Do what you got to do with me. I knew immediately I just wanted more. I wanted to pursue more. While I was up there, Pastor Jason, he took me aside and he says, I want to talk to you very seriously about something. Your testimony here of what Christ has done in your life, you need to tell this story, because there are other people out there that have gone through the same thing that you have gone through. And I was like, well, not me, you know. I'm lucky he even plucked me out of the depths of where I was, you know. And they basically said, just pray on it. And I came to the understanding that, yes, I want to reach other people. So I'm currently going through training to become a counselor. I want people to feel the joy that I feel being in Christ. Even now, when I talk to people, if I'm able to give them just a portion of that joy that I feel, that's all I want to live for anymore. Well, I'm still a sinner. I'm still human, but I'm not looking to sin like I used to. I used to not care. The human side of me still tries to be in charge, but now I literally say, okay, no more of that. Let's step back a little bit, God. I'm here. I'm your servant. I'm your child. Guide me. Keep my hands out of it. Direct me where you want me. And that's truly the way I look at it now. I just want to be a servant. I just want to serve him.